Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to go through one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Follow me on social media if you'd like. Links are in the description below. I just like to post my art. I post about 2 to 3 times a week, five at the most. No politics, no hot takes, just my drawings. So give that a like or give that a follow if you're interested. I've also linked the DC fan page, wiki page, for the Batman Year 2 that we're going to be going through today. So today we're going to be going through Batman 575, 76, 77, and 78, constituting the Batman Year 2. Now, this has been undone by today's standard, so this never happened. So, Alan Davis does the first part, but he leaves to go to Marvel and do Excalibur, and Todd McFarlane replaces him. But this cover is absolutely fantastic of Batman holding this this gun here. So pretty pretty cool. So here we have a this would have been in the first page, and this would have been a full size page with the credits and the name of the story, Fear the Reaper. So, all right, let's go. So Commissioner Gordon is doing an interview. He is a newly appointed commissioner of Gotham, and she's asking about the Batman, and then he's about to answer, but like all just they don't let him finish talking, and so many feel that he's no better than the Reaper, who who was a vigilante in Gotham 20 years or so before Batman, and that's what I mean. There is no Reaper in Gotham City anymore, so I think that that whole thing was retconned out. So she's saying that it was the Reaper's departure that caused Gotham to go back into the crime, and she's saying, "Hey, if I can finish, he can't talk about what happened 20 years ago, but the Batman works with the police, not against them." Of course, she says, "Is a Batman an authorized representative?" He says, "No, he operates on his own, but he offers his services." And he's accepted his help because he figures he'd be out there anyway. So while all this is happening, you can see this is all going on the TV, and these guys are going in. Looks like they're stealing stuff, and the bat signal comes off, and suddenly Batman is in front of them. So, um, just he just kind of talks to them. So, Alan Davis is a great artist. I truly like him. I would have loved to have seen what he would have done if he would have stayed in Batman longer. But like I said, this is his last issue, and then he ended up going to Marvel to do Excalibur with Chris Claremont, and so Batman's kind of disappeared, and then he is gonna jump above them, and um, he kind of takes care of them. Um, he called the police, and off he goes. And although this costume, I really have good feelings. I don't know. I grew up with Batman with the blue costume, so I'm still very partial to it. When I draw Batman, I always give him a blue costume. So now we're elsewhere, and we see here that a woman named Rachel has seen her dad, calls him father. That's funny, not dad. Um, so, and he's come to visit his daughter. So the dads come. It's the most important, or the most important day of his daughter's life, and wishes his mom could have seen it. Of course, she says we wouldn't talk of that, and I love it. Father, we who calls father anyway. So introduces her to Leslie Tompkins, and um, they have a dinner date, and he says that they'll talk over breakfast. And the housekeeper says the bedroom's just as he left, and nothing's been touched. He thanks her, and it's good to be home. Meantime, Wayne Tower is being built, or the Wayne Foundation building, or whatever it is. So, uh, Leslie is bringing Rachel in there, and he's showing them around. So, anyway, he says that the penthouse up there is going to be for Leslie Tompkins, who Bruce pays to have a clinic for those that need it in the poor. Although technically he should be paying lots of doctors because there's lots of people and one doctor just cannot do it. But hey, and so um, she says that her patients would never go to a neighborhood like this. But anyway, they decide talk about it otherwise. So he introduces her to Rachel, and he's gonna join them for supper. And you can see, I love how Alan Davis drew her. You can see the annoyance in that he went in. So now, if you remember, Bruce Wayne is the mask of Batman. Batman, it really is him. So when he's Bruce Wayne, he does jerky things that he wouldn't do it because that's the persona of, he believes is the persona of Bruce Wayne. That's how he's able to keep his secret identity. You know, the brooding billionaire, of course, would make it for other people to make the connection, but the playboy type doesn't. So anyway, they kind of talk. Kind of makes a jerkish comment here, but Rachel is good, and she says, the only way to fight evil is by learning all she can, and find out how evil takes roots, and says she doesn't mean to be a philosopher, and he says, not at all. So shall we order now? Just kind of moving things along. So, and he walks her home, and asks if he can see her again. He's got tickets to the Gotham Ballet. She says, I'm afraid not. And she goes, is there someone else? In a manner of speaking, she's going to take her final vows, and she's going to become a nun. So Bruce kind of got the hots for a woman who's about to turn into a nun, and then she just kind of closes the door. And so when she comes in, she asks Greta, the housekeeper, is her dad in? And she says no. And we can see a shadowy figure, who we can all guess is the dad, going through, walking, and he observes. So he comes home or goes somewhere. I don't know if this is the house. I think that's the house. But then he clicks on a secret room. And remember that we mentioned the Reaper in the beginning. So, and here we have this lady that's walking in this neighborhood when she is attacked by these hoodlums, and then you see it kind of in a voice release her, and very cool. So this just kind of is gonna prepare you for what McFarlane is gonna do. So, because look how cool Alan Davis does this. So imagine when Todd McFarlane takes over. and he dispatches the thugs, or some of them, and so and takes out a gun and shoots them in the back. And she has nothing to fear. The Reaper has returned, and he will save this city with or without its consent. So, all right. So Bruce Wayne um, is asking Leslie about Rachel Caspian, and she stops him right there. Leslie says she wants her untouched by his world. So Bruce Wayne says, are you sure? And then Alfred interrupts him, and he's gonna go and answer Gordon. Now, Leslie Tompkins, and I believe this is still going on Batman, does know Bruce Wayne is Batman. She was one of the few people. Now it seems that everybody knows he's Bruce Wayne, and I don't like that, but, nothing I can do about that. But I believe that the less people that know, the better. So anyway, he's going to head to the Batcave, and she says, you don't have to go. He says, yes, and says, maybe someday, but not tonight. He wants her to, he doesn't want him going out dressed as a vigilante, or dressed as a bat being a vigilante. So, she asks about the cave, and Alfred says that it's the only place on Earth where he truly feels of himself. So, off he goes. So, right in this panel here, they thank him for coming quickly. So Gordon says he didn't really expect them. He says, didn't you tell the media that you'd come running? He says that was just for show. The police doesn't really know what to make of you. Offers his a mint. He says he's trying to quit cigarettes. He says he's a free operative, and, so long as there's an understanding. Real quick, I want to let you know that the letters are by Todd Klein, probably my third favorite letterer after John Workman and Tom Orzechowski. So guy is really good. So says here that a guy known as the Reaper carved some kids in the Bank Street, and Batman says that's interesting that it's that particular street. So Gordon doesn't know if it's the original Reaper or not, but Batman will do some investigating, but gives him a present, which is of course his pipe. Batman's kind of looking around to see if he can find this Reaper, and they think that he's this lady's like he's a cop, of course, because prostitution is illegal. He sees them the same as he does those other people, so he's gonna purge them off the city. So off he goes. Of course, Batman was waiting because, hey, it's a big city, but he was right where he was supposed to be. So begin a fight, hits him, but of course he's armored. So, and he notices that he's not fighting back, and then realizes that he's probably just trying to estimate the moves. So he puts his I always have a hard time pronouncing them. Skith. I don't know. I think it's Scythe. Anyway, he puts them away. So, and this looks like it would hurt. Ouch. And of course that would hurt too. But he gets rid of, or he fights Batman and knocks him out. Batman goes and Lunges at him, but again, disposed quickly. Cuts him. Batman's just getting his butt kicks. The guy takes the gun. Batman moves out of the way, but he is hit in the leg and makes his way down the sewers, where his wound, of course, is going to get infected with all the that bacteria in there. But hey, and Alfred comes in, and Batman's on the floor. So he called Dr. Tompkins and says, "Hey, I promised I'd get here." So, and that no matter what he did, it just wasn't enough. She tells him to calm down or he's going to start bleeding again. He remembers, of course, going back to um, that perhaps the best way to save his parents is to use the gun that took their lives. So, big moment here as Bruce Wayne grabs the gun and says that he is perhaps going to use it. So we now go to 576. Now, Todd McFarlane takes over as penciler. He pencils the remaining three issues, but he does not ink the first two. He does ink the third one. I actually have a video on the third one that I think that was my second video ever. So on just the last part, but I will be including it in this one here. So a great cover. McFarlane pencils the cover. I don't know who the inker is, so you'll have to forgive me, but love. Look at this. Just how awesome is that? So, and here we go. We got our credits. Deal with the devil. And again, this would have been in the page right after. So the police are gathered to escort a prisoner. He's the head of the mob, and this guy's upset because he only got 5 years. Seems unfair, but they're trying to get him into prison. All these people are escorting to try to prevent an assassination, of course, up there. Pow, pow, pow. And so it looks like it's they're shooting up there. It looks like it's some kind of robot thing, and so and it's still firing. They don't know that, so it was a trap because the Reaper is coming from behind. This inker that I don't like this inker with McFarlane. He did not. That's why he started inking himself. He was unhappy with some of the choices that people were giving him for ink, so he decided, hey, I'm just gonna ink things myself. So he shoots the head of the mob and a couple of other people, and then even the police, because he says those that protect evil must also, pay the price too. And he dispatches everybody, and this cop here is calling for medics. And so Gordon arrives, and he's got just quite a scene here. This is very different from what you're used to, that clean look from Alan Davis. I have, if you've been following and looking at the other Alan Davis stuff, he's so different from Todd McFarlane. But when Todd McFarlane is inked, like I said, he's inked by this other person. It just it's really hard. It doesn't. It makes McFarlane's art not look as good. So I can definitely see why he decided to ink himself. So here, Batman is practicing shooting a gun. So love this. I try to incorporate this. So when I create, when I've been working on a comic book, and whenever I do shooting, I do this exact same thing. So, of course, Bruce is a very good shot. So, and Alfred tells him he wasn't aware that he was keeping up with his marksmanship, which he says he wasn't. So, and he's getting him for breakfast. So he asks Alfred to clean and oil the gun um, before he puts it away. So Leslie's here, and then he asks her if she slept well, and he's like, "Who the heck is gonna sleep down knowing that he had a gun?" He of course tells her the back cave is soundproof. He says, "You know what I mean." So, and he says, "What would your father do? You think about what your dad would uh do?" He says, "Every day." Real quick here, McFarlane, even early on, he is the king of vertical panels. Goodness gracious. And so you can see as Batman grabs, or as Bruce grabs his Batman uniform, that down here Caspian is holding his Reaper costume. So, and of course, she is having her nun. Um, she's not a nun yet, as we saw, just hasn't taken her final vows. So he tells your mom would have been approved. And she's like, please don't do this. And now we're going to see what happened to the wife. It's similar to the origin of Bruce Wayne, except it's just the mom that dies. And sees the guy coming out, and of course he decides to confront him. So the guy just panics and shoots him. But then also the woman starts to scream and shoots the mom, which ends up dying. But the dad doesn't die. And this part here is a trope McFarlane will use throughout his career. So, and here he is in the wheelchair. So he is going to swear vengeance because, very what was that movie with Charles Bronson? Um oh my goodness, where they killed his wife. Death Wish. So anyway, so he says he was just remembering, and he says whatever he does for her, well, for his daughter and for his former wife. So, and she's going to meet Bruce Wayne for lunch. Sorry, he was going to meet Leslie, but instead meets Bruce Wayne. He's going to be there for Leslie. So they talk for a little bit, but she asks about Bruce and asks what he does, and he's like, I don't have anything to do. Love the scowl here, and just give me my money. So anyway, so he says he's building this for his dad, and they eventually go for a kiss. So Batman's falling in love. So love this part. It would have been great if this would have been all black and then gone here, but it would have been a better reveal if this would have been black. So he lights up the pipe. Batman's right there. Love this. And I love this. Very cool. Man. Would have been even better if McFarlane was inking himself, but that'll come. Anyway. So he's basically apologizing for something he's gonna have to do, but tells him um that he is his friend. But we Batman's gotta fight fire with fire. He feels like so. All right, so they're going to take down a mob boss that's coming through because Gotham is full of mob bosses. So Gordon thinks something's wrong, and the as he comes in, we can tell the Reaper's there just based on that. And here he comes, but Batman was waiting, and very dynamic by McFarlane. Tears off the and Gordon's about to shoot, but Batman ends up shooting the gun out of him. So he tells Gordon to get his men out of here. So again, love the cape. So I started doing the Detective Comics run with Alan Davis because I wanted to end that with the Batman Year 2. So anyway, Reaper kills this guy looking for the mob boss, and Batman comes in trying to save him. Love the capes. You can see why he went for Spawn. So um, he offers to help him, and um, so this guy was like, "I thought you were working with Gordon," and Batman says, "You thought wrong." And of course, the cops show up. The Reaper's there, but he ends up um, escaping. And so they're like, we don't understand." And so they're like, "I thought Batman was on our side." He goes, "So did I." And then takes the pipe that Batman gave him and snaps it. Says, "Looks like we were both wrong." So these people now, they're in a mob meeting. There's a guy in the background here. And if you've seen this before, you know who this is. But anywho, so these mob bosses are trying to, guide into an action. They're saying, "Where's Hamer," which of course was the one who Batman rescued, and he just throws him in there. And love this, just what an amazing composition here from McFarlane. He just wow. Anywho, Batman lands. This is another great. This probably would have been all black, but again, this inker just doesn't really work for him. But so Batman makes sure nobody shoots him. This guy is all like, not impressed, but neither is Batman. And so he says, "Well, if you're gonna work for us, you gotta work with him." And he calls Joe. And so Batman, of course, recognized him instantly. Love this panel as Joe Chill, the man who killed his mom and dad, and that is who they're asking him to work with. So now we go to Detective Comics 577, another great cover. I have not mentioned it yet. However, I'm going to go ahead and mention it in case you're new. I own every comic book that I'm showing you, even though I'm showing them to you digitally, because digitally makes it's easier for me to show you. I actually own every issue. So if I don't own it, I don't show it to you. So I actually have all these. It's like I said, it's just so much easier to do it digitally. And of course, we got our title page, and just like always, this was a whole page. And great frontispiece here. Deadly Allies, it's called. So this might also be one of McFarlane's most famous. I have this action figure. I actually bought it when it first came out. And of course, here is the figure. So, man, it's really cool. So we're getting a quick recap. He's at the cemetery where his parents are buried. So we're getting just kind of a quick little recap. And so Leslie Tompkin, of course, is going to confront him. I love how McFarlane, just allows with his inking. I love his choices. I mean, I know he's not inking yet. He starts inking the next issue, but love the choices that he is employing already. So, um, Leslie, of course, is not happy. And she asks him, "Do you pray?" And he goes, "No, not since that night." Says, "I'll pray for you, Bruce." And so we're back now, and Batman has arrived. So love the um, love the capes, man. McFarlane. This is why Spawn is just the perfect McFarlane creation. So um, Joe Chill's gonna kill people, and Batman, of course, is gonna say, "No, let's try it another way." Love this right here. Um, just so amazing. Look at that. Oh, great choices. Batman dispatches this guy. That guy gets up, and Joe Chill is about to kill him. He says no, bringing the guy down before the bullet hits. So, all right. Batman, of course, is trying to avoid any unnecessary deaths, even of the bad guys. Love the all black. I love his choices. Just very cool. So, here's the gang. Here comes Joe Chill, who just starts shooting. In comes this guy. Um, Batman shoots, but just shoots at the bat, doesn't shoot them in particular. And then he says, "Move." And the guy is gonna use a grenade because why not? So tells him don't know, but Joe Chill ends up shooting him. So says that wasn't necessary, and he goes omelets and eggs, which of course is the phrase for can't make a omelet without breaking a few eggs. So, and he says, well, I can't let you get killed. So, and so off they go. They grab this guy. So they have a mission for this guy. So now he's gonna leave. And this Joe Chill says, "We make a good team." And of course, "Father, what have I done?" So you can see the future when he takes over Spider-Man, as he does with the webbing. So all the tropes are there. So they're asking Joe Chill how it went. He says fine, and then basically, for a bonus, they're going to he's going to get rid of Batman after this mess with the Reaper is done. So in the police headquarters, he's saying that there's apparently a big drug deal that's happening on Friday on Southville. Gordon's like, nothing ever happens there. But Gordon says, maybe the Reaper will be there. And of course, they said Batman. So, and Gordon's like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's start getting ready for Friday. So, love the headlights. Try to incorporate that also when I use it. A lot of McFarlane things that I saw him when I was growing up, and I was like, oh, I definitely want to try that. So they're gonna meet the Caspians out for supper. So Leslie and Bruce, and of course Rachel, and I forgot his name. So they meet and realizes that now Rachel is no longer looking to being a nun. And she says, well, there's still time because she hasn't taken the vows. So Bruce is, of course, I'm glad that he hasn't. So he says that his reputation precedes him. He doesn't want to see his daughter hurt. Bruce says, I understand. that, and basically says that he will never do anything to hurt her. And they shake hands, and so Leslie, of course, is happy, and she says prayers do get answered. So Rachel invites Bruce to talk with her and her dad, but her dad says he has to go out perhaps some other time, and then of course, Bruce also says, I have take a rain check too, and she's like, Friday night and a girl can't get a date. Of course, um, both have to go do their alter ego things, so very cool here. And so he meets Joe Chill, and they're setting up a place to explode. That way they can kill the Reaper. They realize that the whole building's a trap. And here comes the Reaper. Batman asks for binoculars. He thought he heard something. I love this panel here. And he says he didn't hear anything. But again, with the vertical panels. So off he goes. I like how Joe Chill just follows him. And they're like, Commissioner, look. And he sees Batman up there. They say the unit's to move. And he comes in. But it was the Reaper. Kills those people. Everyone shoots at him. McFarlaneisms are coming. Just love that. And we got a firefight. And Batman dodges the bullets. Hits the Reaper. Everyone shows up. He shoots at Gordon. Batman, of course, gets down to protect him. Gordon punches him, says, you're under arrest. Joe Chill shoots at Gordon. Reaper just starts shooting. Batman takes a flare gun. Or a gas. I think that was a gas gun. Sees it either, and he's like, Batman sees it, and he's like, Chill, don't do that. But boom! So, Chill is hanging out in the, and he's like, hey, give me a hand. Batman just looks. Love that. Just looks. And just remembers him shooting his parents. Love this entire sequence. Man, if he would have just inked himself, but that's alright. Batman hells him up, takes him out. And so, he thinks he's going to have to kill Joe as he holds the gun. And so here we are to the fourth and final part of Batman Year 2. So McFarlane does not do the cover by himself, but he does do the insides by himself. Now here it does say Alcala. It does not. It is McFarlane and McFarlane only. Love this cover with him holding both the gun and the scythe. Just very cool. And of course here we can see that he does the pencils and inks. So lovely. Love it. It's a great front piece. So as I mentioned, I have covered this one, but for the sake of completing things, I'll go ahead and pretend I haven't covered this one just to put it in here. I didn't want to just copy the other video. That was my second video ever, so I probably sounded like a idiot. Not that because I still, have my little tropes and all that, but love. So you can see McFarlane, this is his first time inking himself, so it's not perfect, But man, you can see the vast difference from what it looked like when Alcala was doing it, and here you know that eventually he gets these lines straight. So here he's just dashing them out, but we all know that eventually he what he'll do. So um, here he grabs um, the Reaper grabs this guy, and so what had happened before, I'm sorry I didn't narrate. Let me just kind of go back. So they're gonna eliminate the Batman and the Reaper. The Reaper had heard everything, so now this guy's an informant for the police. So he wants to tell the police, um, and says to do it, or then he'll be the next thing he sees and the last. And of course, he can't see without his glasses. As he throws them, they break. Glasses don't break if you throw them like that. Um, you may get a crack, but they don't break like that. So Wayne Manor, he is going to go with dinner with Rachel. Um, he's very happy. You can see him happy. Um, those sorry, just focusing on the art because it's just so much different. McFarlane so much better when he inks himself, and when you know what he ends up becoming, it's even better. So, all right, so they're having dinner, and when she opens her fortune cookie, he eats a wedding ring, and Bruce asks to marry her, and she says yes. Of course, there's a fortune here. You may avoid your fate, but you can never escape it. Very, very true. Well, very true for him. So that Friday now, Commissioner Gordon, as he's pretty much arranged a massive raid to the criminals' hideout here. So they they shoot in the back. Oh my goodness gracious. Comic books. So they open up and they just start shooting. I don't think you're supposed to do that, but hey. And so um the underlings are gonna save the bosses, and shot from behind, and of course the Reaper. Very cool, man. The art just looks so much better. Even first time inking himself, McFarlane was better than what that Alcala was doing with McFarlane. Um, McFarlane's such, this is his first inking job. Just so that you know, this is his first inking job, and look how good he does in his first time. So here comes Batman. They see him. They start shooting at him, and he dispatches the two cops. Takes the vehicle. Runs everybody over. And he's aiming for the Reaper. Love this. Love the coloring job of getting this white because of the headlights coming. And here we go. Batman saves Gordon again. Um, so, it's gonna explode. He actually saves Joe Chill because he is Batman. He saves. So, police evacuate because this place was going to explode. So they're saying that Batman is a miserable traitor, that he was only trying to get the Reaper, and that he burns in hell, and yada yada yada. So Commissioner Gordon knew that he never turned heel. So puts his lieutenant in charge, and off he goes. And so Um, Bruce comes in, and so he looks all miserable here. He tells her basically he has to do one more thing, and after he does this one more thing, he will, you know, he'll be hers forever, and he just has to finish this one thing. So, and that she understands and she'll be here, and so he walks out, and you can see the bat signal. So, love this here. Puts a gun in his head, but doesn't do anything. Wakes up and says, "I want to show you something." Says everybody's dead. Um, Man, McFarlane, just that's great. Wants to show him something. Asks if he recognizes this place, and he says, "Should I?" It's been 20 years, and so he says about the Waynes, how he killed them. Love this here. You can see the first time that he does that sharp point on the cape. Very cool. Joe Chill says, what's it to you?" He says, "I'm their son," and of course reveals himself to be Bruce Wayne and starts to fight Chill and is going to shoot or just whatever, but he does not shoot him as the Reaper was watching, and Joe Chill dies. Now, it's like I said, the story doesn't exist anymore because Joe Chill is part of kind of the comic book, so he is still alive. So, um, off he goes to fight the Reaper one last time. Uh, Great art by Todd McFarlane. Um, Man, that dude can draw. So, we've hit our finale. So, Gordon says, "Keep the reporters back." And so he recognizes it's Caspian, says it's over. Yes. Um, I, and he's glad. "I didn't think you were a killer," but he sees I was wrong. And then jumps. Batman didn't actually kill him. So he takes the gun and is going to put it in the foundation, I think, or whatever. And off he goes. And so everybody, of course, now knows that the Reaper is who he was. They're all trying to interview Rachel. Bruce says, "Oh my God, I can't believe my father," and all that, and he has to make amends for what he did. And he says he's sorry and chooses to take her vows instead. He says, "I do understand, Rachel. Goodbye." And so I love this panel again. And we get here in the limousine and says that he is going to be able. He gets her a clinic closer to where the patients can be. So she asks, "Are you happy?" He says it doesn't matter. And he walks away, and they ask, "Should we wait for him?" And she says no. That it's getting dark, but he can always find his way in the dark. And we end with this amazing, I'm going to show it one more time, drawing here. So, goodness gracious, what could have been if McFarlane would have done Batman instead of Spider-Man, but that's all right. That wasn't a bad choice. So, hope you enjoyed it. Batman Year 2. Thanks for listening.